What if Spider-Man didn't just act like a spider, but actually became one? I'm talking extra arms, fangs, losing control, full mutation. Because with everything we've been hearing about Spider-Man Brand New Day, there's a real chance we might see one of Peter Parker's most disturbing transformations ever. Man-Spider.
This is the way. This is the way.
Welcome to Fatherly Fandom. I'm your host, Chris, and if you love theories, breakdowns, reviews, and all things nerdy, you're in the right place. So hit that subscribe button. Your inner nerd will thank you. All right, so after No Way Home, Peter Parker has lost everything. His identity, his relationship, his support system, and now Marvel is setting up a true reset. A brand new day, if you will. But what if the reset comes at a cost? Let's break down the history of Man-Spider and what it means in the comics and why it could play a major role in Spider-Man's next chapter. So what is Man-Spider? Man-Spider isn't just a villain, it's Peter Parker at his worst and most out of control. The idea first shows up when Peter starts mutating beyond his original powers. We're talking 4 extra arms, enhanced strength but unstable, animalistic instincts, and losing his humanity. In some versions, Peter tries to cure himself, but things go horribly wrong. Instead of removing his powers, he accelerates the mutation, and that's when Spider-Man becomes something else entirely, a creature driven by more instinct than responsibility. So let me ask you, what scares you more, Spider-Man losing a fight or losing himself? All right, let's go into some of the comic history. The Man-Spider storyline has appeared in multiple forms across Marvel history, but one of the most iconic versions comes from the 90s animated series. Peter grows extra arms after trying to get rid of his powers, and instead of fixing things, he spirals further into mutation. Eventually, he transforms into a giant spider-like creature, Man-Spider. In the comics, similar themes show up during experiments gone wrong, genetic instability tied to his powers, and stories involving science pushing too far. And the key theme is always the same. Peter's greatest strength, his powers, becomes his biggest threat. This isn't a villain he could punch, it's himself. So what do you guys think? Do you think that Peter's intelligence is enough to save him, or is this something he can't outthink? So what does Man-Spider represent? Man-Spider is more than a transformation, it's symbolic. It represents loss of control, identity crisis, the danger of tampering with power, and Peter's fear of becoming a monster. And remember, Spider-Man is built on responsibility. So what happens when Peter can't control his actions? When instinct overrides morality? That's what makes this story so dark, but so very interesting. Because at any moment, Peter could hurt the very people he's trying to protect. So would you trust Spider-Man if he couldn't control himself? So how could this possibly connect to Brand New Day? After No Way Home, Peter is completely alone now. No Tony Stark tech, no Avengers, not a single person who remembers who he is. This is the perfect setup for a grounded but intense story. So where does Man-Spider fit in? Here's a few possibilities. A science experiment gone wrong, Peter trying to rebuild his life, experiments with his power, and triggers a mutation. Outside influence, someone else, maybe a villain or a corporation, pushing Peter's biology too far. Emotional instability, physical consequences. Marvel could tie his mental state to a mutation. And let's be honest, a darker, more isolated Peter, that's exactly when something like this could happen. And we know the X-Men are coming to the MCU. Sadie Sink is rumored to be Jean Grey, so what if we have an X-Men-like mutation in Peter already? Maybe that's what actually pushed his powers to begin with. All fun and interesting ways to explore this story in a unique and fun new way. Alright, so why Marvel might actually do this? Marvel loves raising stakes in new ways. And yes, we've gotten rumors about symbiotes and things, but we've already done a lot of Venom storylines. Man-Spider is a new aspect that we haven't explored in the movies. And after multiverse-level threats, they might go for something more personal like this, more psychological. Man-Spider would give Tom Holland something completely new to play, add a horror element, push Peter to his absolute limits, and visually, it would be unforgettable. Imagine a scene where Peter realizes he's changing and can't stop it. So question here, would you want Marvel to go full horror with Spider-Man? Alright guys, so Man-Spider is one of the most underrated and terrifying Spider-Man concepts ever. And with Brand New Day resetting Peter's world, this might be the perfect time to explore it. So what do you guys think? Is Man-Spider coming to the MCU? Or is this a story Marvel won't go that dark with? Will they actually take a chance on something new and different? Or stick to the same old script? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, my friends, stay nerdy, and I will see you next time.